I'm going to be making the dough. Now with the dough, you're going to want, it's one way or the other. It's either frozen flour and room temperature, whether you're using lard or butter or margarine, or you want to go, frozen and shave it and use room temperature flour to a degree. A lot of people go that way because they don't store their flour. I store mine in the freezer. So get yourself your flour. Just wipe this down real fast here. You want to get yourself a big bowl. Get yourself, I like to get myself 2 forks, but you're going to want to get yourself I like my big fork, and I like my, I should move the camera over now to be able to over into this area. Alright, so I like my big fork, and I like my regular standard fork, that you eat with. Adult fork, I should say. Anyways, this one here is going to be good for what we're going to do. You're going to want 4 cups. I'm using 4 cups of cold flour and half a pound of butter. All right. Mine comes out of the freezer, and I don't mind measuring a little high on my cups, a little more than each, I don't have to be perfect. So 3 and number 4. Okay. So, I might have about 4 1/4 cup in there, somewhere closer to that. I don't make perfect here. Okay. I like to use a stainless steel bowl because it really keeps the cold, like it feels like it's frozen right now. So anyways, you want a butter knife. Get yourself half a pound of butter. Now if you have I left mine out on the counter straight out of the, I keep mine in the freezer, but essentially what I did is I left mine out on the counter over here last time I was cooking, so I got a pretty soft butter. But anyways, we're just gonna go cut right down the middle here. Easy. And put that in there. And that's it. Now, I'll put that back in the fridge for my consumption of regular butter. Alright. Now, grab this. And this. There we go. Alright. One there. Over here. Alright. Do a little quick stir here. Alright, nice. You're doing good over here. Alright. Always try to keep your carrots of everything in here. Make sure try to keep your carrots under the juice themselves, because they're again the hardest thing to cook in here. Now you can pretty much turn her down a little more if you want. She's almost cooked. We're going to just shut her down there. So I was at max half, and now I'm pretty much low. You can go right down max, medium, low there on this one. So now we're going to get back over to this. Now, don't try clumping it all at once. Break it back into the flour itself. The middle's still a little firm, not hard, but firm for sure. Alright, so use the flour itself to continuously break it up a little more at a time, and you're like, I guess, shaving off the side of the flour and letting each shaving get covered in flour. The flour is so cold that it will essentially just mix nicely with it. There's so many ways and recipes, I I like them all. I've never been a big fussy guy with crust. You can give me a dry crust, a thick crust, a moist crust. As long as it's not way undercooked, I tend to be okay. Or way overcooked that it turns into rock. Alright. Give you a good little workout here. It's not quick. Now they have a tool for this. It kind of looks like that, but like I guess a whisk. It's like three pieces of a harder whisk that you can, when you push down with it, with a handle, and like 3-4 wires that'll do this job a lot easier. Now, all right. I say all right, I guess a lot. I guess because I'm not having problems. Now that's why I bring another fork here too, because I got a pretty nice chop on this now. And now if you use your other little fork, you can chop it up even finer. Right. Now you're looking to make this you're really, I guess, as grainy as you're willing to make it. You don't want to have lumps of butter in here, big clumps and lumps of it. So that's why I just using a hard bowl so I can chop up bigger clumps and then just break them down with the side of the fork. You can continue using this one if it's it's easier. That's pretty much, I'm pretty much almost done here. You can even do this in a food, I know you could do it in a food processor. Probably work pretty nice. Alright. Okay. Now, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, as you will anyways. And now you can grab little clumps that you feel too big, and just literally like squish them until they go like that. And you'll see this is really cold in here because of the flour. So if you just go like that and give them little squishes, you'll literally make the flour, like just gets really grainy. You don't want to try to do that with the whole clump of butter, or all you do is have buttered, greasy fingers. Okay, so I just twist. It's just like twisting in like this. You're just rubbing it out. And you're looking for the big clumps. Make sure to grab a lot of flour at the same time and right. It's pretty nice. Now I made extra flour, like I made a little extra. That's just because I like to always make extra dessert and never worry about not having enough also dough. But I always use my leftover dough every time. Alright, well, we're pretty much done here. Now what we're going to try to do, we're going to get this into essentially a big ball. I guess to say I'm not never measured out this before. I just eyeball it in there. I always have, but make yourself a little pocket hole, I guess, in the middle. There's a half a cup of, yeah, just over half a cup of water there. Anyways, lukewarm. About a half a cup there. I guess I'll use the fork to stir it first. So I just stir in the middle. What I do, I'm not trying to work the dough at the moment. I'm just trying to get it all to come together. So you'll see it get to a point where it's very starting to get really thick. Just add more water to it. Don't over water here. Very carefully not to over water. It'll sort of look like cottage cheese because of the butter clumps. But yeah, you don't want no more than, don't use warm water, no more than lukewarm. Cold water is preferred. You could even, I use pretty cold water myself. Nothing over lukewarm because you don't want to melt the butter here. Trying to keep things cold. Alright. This out here. Now a lot of people will let dough rest. I've never personally cared what if you let the dough rest. You always thought grandma's dough always tastes so good, but it's because grandma always made a lot of doughs at the same time. And then she would divide them up, and because of all that time for dividing, all that divide time and the sit time that the dough gets, that's its own rest time. But she makes so many at one time. I can't remember ever trying just to make one dough other than in school, or one pie other than in school. Just a huge waste of effort and time to just do one. So, anyways, and I'm not trying to work it, I'm just trying to get everything put together in here. So I'm more or less, yes, working it like a snowball the best I can. Keeping it sticky and then turning it on itself. And everybody's got a different technique for this. So I'll do a little squish just to make sure to bring it all together. Not hard squish, just to like put little dents in, you know, like that, so that the whole thing wants to stay together. And you pick it up and flip it onto the other side. Because you don't want it too wet, too dry. You want to go over so you're putting way too much flour in, and you're gonna have if you put too much flour ratio to your fat contents, you're gonna get the stiffer it is. The more oils you use, I guess, the softer of a dough you're gonna start to get. But I'm just putting in, I guess I was close to about 1.5 cups of water in all. But yeah, it's pretty much done here. Smell everything over here already. It's all completely done. All right. In the bowl. Off. once on itself if I can. There. Pretty moist. I always keep a little spare flour by the oven. Just a dash. Just to make it a little easier to handle. That's all it is, but it's super moist. That's the important thing. Like if I shake it, I'm not gonna try to squish it, but you can see it's my hand, it just droops down into it. So anyways, that I'm just gonna leave like this. So my bowl is basically dusted, the flour is dusted. It was not sticky, but it still had a little tack to it. And now it's like that, so it's super soft. I'll let it sit just for a bit myself. Pretty much just gonna turn this. Cut some carrots up here. Yeah, looks like this is all done. All right. Yep. All right. I'm gonna shut the oven off over here now. Okay, so this is finished. What else is there? Okay, no, nothing else. I just got to get this. Just not trying to get ahead of myself here. I know it's not going to edit this out. Okay, so you're going to cut yourself out now I said I was making 4 pies out of this, so let's take the water out of here. And get some this area down here. Get that wet at all. Alright. Okay, I know I said I was gonna make this is for 4 pies, but I was gonna make 2 of my regular pies and then a what people consider, I guess, a regular pie, what I consider a really big pie. So if you cut first in half, your dough right in half, okay, and then like you can, I guess you can start. You can see the tack, I guess. Yeah, it's still a little sticky. Okay. I don't want dry dough here. So anyways, okay, but see, there's no stick here. So now you're gonna cut your other one in half. Now that right there, that's your top and your bottom. Usually I leave a little extra flour out here. Okay. Anyways, that's gonna be your top. That's gonna be your top and your bottom right there. You're gonna cut it in half, but I'm not gonna cut it in half yet. Put it back in the bowl. Grab your next one. Grab them both. Put them back in the bowl. Try not to let them stick to each other. Now, this isn't for my big pie. This is going to be also for my dessert that I plan on making. But it's basically, I always make a little extra, but it's what you can do with your leftover. So instead of cutting it in half, I'm going to cut it a little over more, just so I can have a little more dough for this one. All right, so there. And 1, 2. There we go. So now we got all 3 doughs. So now I can put my knife back aside. You keep out your forks nearby. Anyways, I'm gonna put some more flour here in the middle now, and I'm going to take out my well, I should say this is size-wise, it's my medium. My regular size dough. Okay, so I'm going to cut it in half first, like this. Okay, now I know that this does my top and my bottom, so I'm going to put one there, put this one aside right away. You can always judge which is the biggest and which is the smallest by the best you can. Take your biggest you have and use it for the bottom. Alright, so now what I like to do is I like to push my dough all inside here like that, and at the same time I like to pat it around like this. Now you're not looking to squish your dough. I do this a lot, kind of like I would do a homemade pizza. So anyways, always bring dough back into your middle when you're flipping. And again, I'm just going to go around real lightly like that. And what I'm trying to do is just keep a circular shape, I should say. So anyways, don't push too hard when you start. Just crisscross, back and forth, and don't do the same pattern back and forth. Just constantly try to move. Now if you need, you just push into your sides, push back down a little, and you'll keep a nice circle. Don't get too big on yourself. Flip it and get it to the other side. Now, like that. Now you can start to add a little pressure, and it's the flour. See how it just stuck a little? It's the flour on the back side that's getting into the pores that you stretched that actually allow it to stay in size. So now you can go like that. Now you don't have to keep a perfectly circled dough. And I make my doughs a little bigger than they need to be because I plan on having the excess. Now if you could see this, even if I brought the camera close, you wouldn't see it as well. But there's you can clearly see the what do you call it, butter in here in like little tiny clumps and lumps. So you or little tiny, I should say, more or less like shards. Okay, now this is pretty much the size I need. You can go a little bigger, like I say. The thickness, I don't know if you can see my thickness of my dough here. Try to keep my hands there to show that. Now I fold the dough in half, at least, and then usually again like that. Now I'll get my hands out and ready here. Okay, so this is like a normal size pie. I reuse my pie containers. So anyways, you're gonna go like that, like this, and like that. Now, another thing that I do is I leave them in a little bigger than they need to be. Alright? Because by the time I come back to use them, they'll have shrunk a little bit. Now I'm just gonna set this on my counter aside a little. Yes, and make the tops to the dough. Alright, so let's start with this small one. Okay, now, or sorry, I didn't want to start with the small one. Guess I'll crush them all right now. Alright, that's what I want to start with here, the biggie. Alright. Okay, start with the big one here. Here. Now I'm not a thick crust myself kind of guy. Okay, now I have my crust is ready. I'll give it a little flip here to make sure that it doesn't shrink too much. But that top is good. Try to get the pies back there too. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to take my dough here, or my big pie dough. I'm going to do the fold half I did again and the quarter that I did again, very neatly this time. I'm going to take out I use my big fork. Don't come out here. It's going to be a lot bigger than you think. Just take off a little teeny weeny little lot. I personally love to eat this little piece. I have since I've been a child. And then I do usually 3 all the way through and wiggle. Don't be scared of it. Like, go ahead and wiggle. It ain't gonna hurt nothing, okay? So go ahead, you know, make 3. You only have to do it once, but okay, you're gonna go around like that. Then you're going to bring your pie over like this and take your little and place it perfectly to the center of your pie, which isn't very hard. Push it to the side, over to the side. All your pie now has a nice holes. Nothing's shouldn't overboard. And what I do is I take my big fork and I put my finger under that lip and I just press along like this myself, like this. Alright, give it a little turn. What this is doing is it's sealing the edge of my crust all the way around. Okay, now what I do here, this is why I made sure it was important not to get meat or anything on the sides, is I'm going to push down on the edge of it. You don't have to hold it or anything, but I'm going to push down on the edge of it in a, like a shearing motion, I guess you'd call it. So just going to go like that. Now you don't have to turn it or anything like that. You just go all the way around like this. Like I guess what a scissor almost does. Okay, now you've got a pie that's done all the way around like that. That's the first pie done. You take your leftover here with no meat, juice, or anything on it, and you start your. There we go. Flips. Right there. All right. Okay, you can just go like that if you want. Be no different. From the side here. Okay, put that in the middle here. Make sure you not to pull that wedge apart. Keep the wedge together. Go like that, like that, like that, and like that, like that. They should just be nice little slits to a degree. All right, now this one here, just go ahead and lob off the, without making that presentation, go ahead and just lob it off. See how nice I can do this one. I usually just make my fine edge like that, but if you feel like going around, being a little more fancy, different, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the dough down with 2 fingers. You're going to take your, can you see, okay, 2 fingers this way. You're going to hold the dough down and you're going to take your other finger and drag back. So what's going to happen, and then in the same spot you're going to leave a space where you just did it. You're just going to continuously move around like that. Okay? The point of pushing down is to seal the dough. That's why you have to push down hard enough, and the drag back will help seal it too. So this is how you get a simple little butter on the finger there. Alright. Now you can see there's a little crowned edge pie, I guess, so you can see the edging on this pie here, what it looks like. And it's not no special. Okay, and then you can see my bigger one here. I'm gonna put him in the back in the oven. Okay, you can see my little dimpled edge here.